You are listening to the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network.
Wake up to the world you've been missing. Time to jump out of bed in the morning. No day, no life, now we're living. Can you feel it in the air that you're breathing? Time to show 'em what you're made of. Let's get back on track. Are you ready for a come on? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Are you ready now? You're lifting off the ground. Welcome back. No calming down. Can you feel it all around? Welcome back.
Well, hello, and welcome back, Super Mega Crash siblings. This is Super Mega Crash Beyond. I'm struggling this morning because I woke up late.
Jealous.
My brain no be working right. It's still jumbled. Not really. It's just, man, I love some sleep sometimes, you know, when you get in there,
Yeah.
you start
Oh, yeah.
dreaming.
Oh, those are rare. Like, I rarely dream.
I've been dreaming a lot here lately. I don't know what's happened to my brain to allow, because I remember a time where I didn't dream as much, and suddenly I'm dreaming again, and I love it
Oh, yeah.
because I'm having some really interesting dreams. I don't remember them all that well when I come
Yeah.
out, but I remember I was having fun or
Right, yeah.
enjoying the dream.
I can remember that as a kid where I was just like, aw.
Aw.
Where I actually was like learning to manipulate it in the dream. I know there's a term for it, but I was starting to actually get okay at that. And then all of a sudden my brain's just like, we're not doing this at night anymore. I know some people are probably like, no, it really does, whether you remember it or not. Well, I don't know. Look, it's a
Yeah.
blank slate all evening for me, as far as I know.
Oh yeah, and I prefer dream days, you know, even if I don't remember what it was, and I know that it was in recent weeks. I don't want to go into details or anything, but I remember I mentioned to you about a very bad dream that I had, and I was like, shit. But this has been within that window of dreaming time, you know, where just I'm having some very vivid dreams, and again, I come out of it. There was a morning, I don't even know if I told you this. This one fucked with my head.
Okay.
Okay. I heard a countdown in my dream. Okay, in 5, 4, 3, 2, and as soon as it said 1, my alarm went off. I am not shitting you. It freaked me out because I was like, what the shit? Like, how did that happen?
Your brain's on it, man.
Yeah.
It knows what's going on.
And
Protecting you.
It must, because like I said, I told you this waking up late is just not normal for
Right.
me. There's
Yeah.
usually a time that my brain has said, wake up.
We're done.
Yeah. Doesn't matter how much sleep I've had. It's like, get up. Time
I
to
feel
get up.
that. Yeah, it doesn't matter when I go to bed. I know when I'm waking up.
Exactly.
I might lay there for another hour or so, but I'm not falling back asleep.
Yeah.
Sometimes if it's like 5, I'm like, no, not
Yeah.
yet.
And see, I wish I could do that. For some reason, that's another part of my brain that doesn't
Let you just
respond.
lay there.
Yeah, because I mean, sometimes I can lay there, but then I'm just like, well, you got this to do, and then you got that to do, and
You
you're gonna have
just
to
get
get up
bored.
anyway. And it's just like it won't let me just lay there in peace.
Yeah. No, I feel that.
So those are the days that I yearn for when it comes to vacation weeks. Like when I've taken an entire week off of work, because
Yeah.
then I can be like, what do I have to do? You know, I can talk my brain out of it to just stay put. It's like, seriously, what do I have to do? Nothing. That's the whole purpose of a vacation. Just
Right.
relax, chill out.
Supposed to.
Yeah, supposed to.
Yeah. Sometimes you need a vacation from your vacation.
Yeah. Anyway, we're not talking about all that. And by the way, I'm sure everybody knows who we are, so I'm not going to do that intro
I was going to
thing.
say we blew right past that. However,
Uh-huh.
it is a happy Monday.
Yes, it is.
It's the day of your birth.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is.
Yes. Some time ago, back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Little
I
Stephen
used
White.
I used to I don't know if they celebrate it anymore, but I remember always having to share Columbus Day with this
Oh, yeah. And this year probably would well, that is today then, yeah? Hold on. It was always on a Monday. I always forget Monday holiday since I've been out of high school because I've never had anything that's celebrated it since. Well, now it's not Columbus Day anymore.
Well,
it's
yeah.
Indigenous Peoples Day. We did
Finally.
make that right. So,
Yeah.
yes.
That's what I was
Your
going to point
calendar
out.
still says it. Well, who's running your phone is all I'm going to say. But yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even realize we had. Well, I do remember that. It's just, it was always that association. It's like, oh, it's Columbus Day and my birthday. Yay.
So you got the day off school at least.
Not
That's
all
fun.
the time. Not all
Really?
the time, but
I always thought
because
you guys celebrated that in your secular schools.
well, it's kind of like my mom's birthday. Her birthday hovers around Mother's Day. So
Okay.
the one time I forgot, I never forgot again. So this, it's always like it's around, it could possibly fall on what is now Indigenous People Day or within the same time frame.
Sure.
Now I get to share it with some mile-long yard sale that exists outside my house.
Oh, yay. That's the time of
Yeah.
year that the whole block's like, hey, we're going to sell stuff to each other. So like a gift exchange, or are you hoping other neighborhoods will come buy your stuff?
That's pretty much what it is. For whatever reason, it is like every weekend around my birthday, it stretches from our town to the next town over. I am not
geez.
joking. And it is a big event.
Okay.
They whip out the food trucks and people, it's just traffic's going
So
to
is
be.
it like a block party, but you sell stuff? Because it sounds like a block party, but you sell stuff.
Kinda, but I wouldn't, I mean, the party part, I don't really see a lot of partying, but,
Oh, yeah.
but there's tons of people out and about, that's for sure.
All right.
Unless it
All right.
rains. And guess what? I wish for the rain.
Bring it on.
Yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
dick when it comes to that. It's my birthday. I don't...
It's my birthday. That would bring me joy.
Yes,
to
it
watch
would.
a bunch of people running from the rain.
Because 9 times out of 10, when it happens, or the reason I have to deal with it is because my parents will come by and they want to take me out for like a birthday dinner or something like that, which I appreciate. And I'm all for it. But then we have to suffer that traffic to get out to where you need to go. And the only way is right down this path of people.
And they don't. Do they have it blocked off though?
No, you just have to watch. I mean, they'll have police within certain areas to make sure. Like, there's a 4-way stop right outside our main road to get onto the main road, and when you get out there, you'll probably see a cop kind of directing traffic just to be sure. But once you get farther down, man, you just got to watch them because they'll just walk out in the road and you're just like,
sure.
what are you doing,
Yeah.
dude? Just please don't do that.
We're doing this right now. No driving. No driving. Yeah.
And if you can tell, this is kind of a nice segue into what we're talking about today because
I tell you what.
I hate people. And that's not it, but we're talking about pet peeves.
Yeah, we're done. Thank you. Pet peeve was people. We're
Yep.
out, guys. Have a good one. Yeah.
So this was one of your topic ideas. What was
Yes.
the thought like? What do you want to talk about other than just
Well,
pet peeves?
Yes. So, I mean, we all have them, something that other people do that just bothers you or things that happen that just bothers you. But we've all just kind of have to deal with it, right? That's just how things are. But what I thought would be more interesting is, what is a pet peeve of yours that you eventually found yourself committing the same crime? And living in a big city, I've unfortunately adopted a few of those pet peeves that you tend to, well, we'll just dive in. Driving. We've all probably got a pet peeve with road rage, someone trying to cut you off, trying to hurry up and get ahead of you because of a construction area or things of that nature, right? Just pisses you off. You've seen the signs for 2 or 3 miles, yet you insisted on driving that left lane up until the sign, which is causing all the traffic because zipper merging apparently is hard. So it is a thing. I watch it happen all the time. If people only realize traffic is because you're being an idiot, we'd never have traffic. If you kept the 2 car lengths from everybody, drove what you were supposed to, instead of trying to be a jerk and cutting people off and hurrying up because where you have to go apparently is so much more important than where everybody else has to go, we would not have traffic. It just wouldn't exist. Instead of bottlenecking at the same place every day. However, now that I've lived in this city long enough, still won't do this on the highways or whatever, but I don't know if they do this in smaller towns. I had never seen it till I moved up here. Going around people who are turning left.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Because like on smaller streets and stuff like that, it blew my mind the first time I lived up here and was turning left onto a street, and everyone just kept going around me from behind me and was freaking me out. Because I'm like, now are they going to do that to the guy who's turning left in front of me? Can I turn left? What's going on? And then you take it one step further and you stop in the middle of the intersection. So you're guaranteed to make that left.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one I do now.
Okay.
Case in point, there's like, not every street has a left turn lane. I still don't understand it in a city like this. Every intersection that has a light needs a left turn lane. I don't understand why you wouldn't do it, because sometimes you'll just sit there for 10 years then to try to turn left or give up and go straight and then do another illegal thing by turning into like a gas station or whatever. So then you could turn right onto the road you were trying to turn left on, and this whole thing. So now I get it. I 100%, when it's my turn, it's green light, I pull all the way into the middle of the intersection. You've got two cars riding each other's ass behind me so they could try to make that light too. And then as soon as it turns red, we're all making our left a good second or two after it goes green. And unfortunately, this is just how life is. It is going to happen. Everyone does it. It sucks, especially if you're the person trying to go straight when you have these long line of people that's trying to go left. But you almost get to the point where, I get it. You're not going to get to go anywhere if you don't. Mm-hmm. People don't allow it. They're just going to keep going. So that was my peeve when I first moved up here. Why are all these people stopped in the middle of this intersection to turn left, keeping me from going straight for however long? Now that I've lived up here 10 years, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. It's because you'll never get to turn left.
Yeah.
All right. So screw. And it's like, we all just kind of have this understanding, unless you've done it knowing there was nowhere to go, and now you've legitimately just hung up the entire green light for all of us. That still gets on my nerves, because you weren't going to get to go anyway. So why did you decide to continue to jump out in front, and now none of us can go?
Mm-hmm.
And we're all just staring at you. Thanks.
Yeah.
Cool. We're going to miss the whole light. Look how much further you got too, sir, because I see you right there. It's been 5 minutes. You got so far by doing that. You saved time.
Sure.
You know he did. It's that I'm definitely getting there a couple seconds sooner than I would have had I not blocked everyone else's opportunity to go, because that's your favorite way. And heaven forbid you have to go a different way because you messed up.
Yeah.
All of us have to suffer for it because, well, I can't turn around. That's what? I know I'm the one who missed the turn, but I'm going to hold everything up here just so I can still go that way, you know? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's one that I've adopted, and I kind of fear when I go to a smaller town that I'm probably going to do the same nonsense and probably get a ticket or something. I don't know, because I'm used to it now. It's just how life is. You want to turn left, you stop in the middle of the road.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that kind of behavior around here. I think I've seen it more on turning red on a red. They're just like, as soon as it turns red, they're just like, fuck it, I'm going. I don't give a damn. And then but the same kind of rules apply, you know, trying to pull out in traffic. And it's just like, I'm going to go regardless, and it doesn't matter. The ones that aggravate me, because they're not turning, and I don't know where their brain thinks this is a good idea, is you'll have a nice stretch of traffic trying to get through a red light, and it's slow. And you should be aware that the green is going to turn red soon. Mm-hmm. And there is the yellow, and it turns yellow, and they just keep creeping with the traffic. It's like, you're going to block this road, you idiot. And then here's red, and you got green, and there's just this car not going anywhere except straight, and they can't move, and you can't move, and it's like, you fucking asshole.
Oh, drives me nuts, especially when when I used to work at a restaurant. There is this section going to Rosemont, Illinois. Okay. I don't work out there anymore, so I don't even go that way, so I'm okay with saying it. But there is a section where when you're turning off to try to get onto Rivers Road, you're coming off of the Highway 90, and it's like 3 lanes. So you've got the one can be straight into the blue line. One could be, they could be either left or straight, in the middle, left or straight. And then there's the left, and then there's the right turn lane. Well, this intersection, they never timed the lights out very well, because then the next street over is like a light by a convention center. And then the next one over is like the actual parking garage for the convention center. So if there's a convention going on and you're trying to turn right, no, you're not. No, you're not. I have sat there for about 45 minutes because all of the cars going straight, legitimately every single time, butt up against the next car and stay in the middle of the road. I have been almost hit because people were getting so road ragey, me included, but they're trying to drive on the sidewalk to go around me on the right. Like they were going to figure out a lane that I wasn't figuring out. Like, I'm here. Where do you... So now I've got people trying to create 2 extra lanes on either side of me. And I'm like, so now where are we all going? Mm-hmm. See, it's that brilliant mindset of the traffic. And I'm like, now we're in a worse position than we were before. And then I became a jerk and almost hit the car in front of me because dude on the right, screw you. Drive on the sidewalk. I'm not letting you around me to save your life. I had a really garbage car at the time too. So I was like, hit me a little bit. I don't care.
Yeah.
This car's 10 years old. It's a box that gets me from A to B. Hit me a little bit. Do it. You know? So I hope he was stuck there for a very long time. Like, where are you trying to go, man? But yeah, it's shit like that people going straight there, you probably missed 3, 4, 5 lights. Mm-hmm. And I don't understand. There's so much room, but people will still clog that whole way. And there was times I thought maybe I should just ditch my car and walk the rest of the way. It would have been a lot quicker.
Probably.
It's like that road. I'm so happy I don't have to go down that way anymore, because that could be 30 minutes of my trip just trying to turn right. You know, and it's like a mile up the road at that point, you know? So yeah, now you can see why some days I just gave up and took the train. Like, people are just jerks. They needed someone there directing that traffic because nobody was abiding by any of the lights. But now I don't care. You guys do you. Do whatever you need to do now. I don't have to go out that way for anything. But yeah, I'm sure you have to have one that used to piss you off. And then you're like, you know what? Well,
I'm gonna kind of stay within the realm of driving for a moment because I've got a lot of pet peeves. and
me both. That's why I said let's try not to be a complete bench fest.
Yeah.
So maybe by the end of it, we could have something happy to bring it around.
Sure.
But, yeah.
But
we get annoyed easy.
But to have a pet peeve that I possibly am guilty of driving, I was honestly thinking, I was like, what do I do that I probably am also angry about? Okay, so it's 2 sides of the same coin, I'd say, where there are some days that, like when I'm driving home, I like to, I know my path and I don't want anyone in my way, so I can go the speed that I want to go, and I'm just hauling ass. Now, maybe I'm going a little faster than I should be, but I'm not going so dangerous speeds.
Like 5 miles, maybe?
Yeah, maybe 5, something like that. Just a little bit extra. Because again, I know the roads. I can I can hit it and go. And sometimes you have these people who are just not going my speed limit. They are going the speed limit. And I'm just like, you son of a bitch. You were going so slow. And then vice versa, like in the mornings. And it does seem to be a night and day. It's a Jekyll and Hyde with me. In the mornings,
you're ready to get home at the end of the day.
Yeah.
See, yeah. You're not excited to get to work by any stretch of the imagination.
Right. But in the mornings, yes, I'm doing the speed limit. I've got my coffee. I'm just kind of relaxed. I'm just like, I'll get there when I get there. And then you've got all these other people who are just rushing to get to work.
Because they all left late.
Yeah.
It's your fault.
And you just have them zoom by you, and they're just mad at you because you're doing the speed limit. And it's like, well, fuck you. I'm
in the right lane. This is where I'm supposed to be.
I'm going the speed limit. I'm not doing anything. So I do the same thing that I get angry about. Yes. But I try to be aware of it in some aspects, but I'm guilty of it. I'm absolutely sure.
It's so interesting too, like that feeling that overwhelms you that that you do. And why do I get so angry when someone else does it? And it's just interesting that we think that when we're doing it, it's justified.
Yeah,
yeah. Like, I know what I'm doing. I wouldn't dare do it like this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sure the person in that other car is saying the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, so like since we only ever live life through our own lens, it's so hard for us to understand that other humans are experiencing the same exact emotions at the same time, all trying to accomplish the same thing. Then we're like, psh, they're an idiot. Psh, why are they doing it like that? Psh. And then as you drive on the shoulder to get to the exit for a mile because traffic, and then you're like, okay, well, I needed to. I've been sitting here for an hour. Like there's something so much different about what I needed to do in my day. Yeah. So I've adopted crazy driving in some areas of my life. Sure. For the most part, I still try to keep it chill because that's another good pet peeve of mine. Bicyclists who think they're pedestrians and don't have to abide by the rules of the road. 3 days coming home from the studio, going to throw pottery. There's the same place that I turn left to get back home. And without fail, there's always seems to be a bicyclist going straight through that when I'm turning left. Now, you guys are like, well, why didn't you stop? You saw him coming. Not when there's a huge line of cars stopped at that stop sign. So they're flying out from behind these cars twice. I sped up a little bit just to see the guy pee himself because fucking A. Like, what are you doing? Like, you want to die this way? You're not even wearing a helmet, you know? And then I screamed, of course, out my window, you have a stop sign! Like, you're no longer a pedestrian. You have to abide by the same rules of the road. Yeah. That drives me crazy because you know it's going to be my problem to deal with. I hit you now. And so now I'm the bad guy, even though I stopped. I turned on my blinker. You flew out from behind a line of cars. I'm going to be the one that has to deal with it.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to care that you were the jerk who didn't stop at the stop sign. All they're going to see is the woman who hit a guy on a bike. That's what pisses. Now that I don't do. So I've not adopted that one, but it drives me crazy because there's so many bicyclists around here, which I get it. It's so much quicker in a lot of cases if you only have to go a few miles to bike. 2 miles could be a half an hour or longer in a city like this. I get it. But my fucking God, get out of the way. Like, you make me so freaking nervous when you're driving in the middle of the street. You know, like, why? Why aren't you off to the side? They actually did start rebuilding our city, though, to be more bike friendly, which I kind of like. It's a pain right now because they're taking away lanes. Apparently, we have the worst traffic in the nation now. Yay! Yeah, it's because they're taking away lanes everywhere and making it worse. But they're putting in those like European bike lanes, which I wish we would have done from the get-go, but they make so much more sense. That it's sidewalk, bike lane, parking, street. So now the bikes are always in between the sidewalk and parked cars instead of being in the street. So much nicer. Honestly, they're over there. They're out of the way. If they fall, they hit a a pothole or something like that. They're not in front of the car, you know. But it's a pain in the ass right now because they're tearing everything up.
Sure,
so you can't really get anywhere. I'm sure just some rich dude was like, I want a bike. So you guys are fixing this because I'm like, why now all of a sudden are they doing it all? And but yes, so bikers, that's another one. Get the hell out of the middle of the road. What are you doing? I know it's illegal to be on the sidewalk, but get on the fucking sidewalk. I'm like, Jesus Christ, just get out of the road.
I actually encountered one the other day, and I'm trying to remember where exactly it was because, I remember now. So yeah, I went, or I was taking care of a little business. I don't even know why I'm struggling with this term here. I had some things to do.
An errand?
So an errand. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. I had an errand to run, yeah. And I went down one of these side roads that I recently discovered is kind of like a shortcut, if you will. Like I'm whether it's short or not, that's up to anyone else to decide because it's a little slower. But guess what? There's no traffic, so I just cut around all the bullshit and go this way, and I like it. You know, it's just like a more relaxing drive. And I was going down that road, and then I was coming back down that road, and sure enough, this is just a 2-lane road, this way and that way, and some motherfucker on a bike is just riding on the road. And I'm like, dude, it is like 40 to 45 down here, and I know you're not going that speed.
Right.
And I can't move because you're in the way. So it was just, oh my God. I was just like, there are so many other places you could ride your bike. Why do you have to do it in the road?
That's their favorite way. I'm telling you. That's a thing with people. Like,
Yeah.
screw you. I've got to go to this direction. There's like a million other ways to get to there. But nope, this is the way I know. So I'm stopping everything so we can go this way. It's my favorite way, though.
So,
yeah.
I understand that maybe this is your only mode of transportation, but be aware there's going to be traffic. Cars that are going much faster than you.
Yeah.
And are
is
going
there a
to
lot
be...
of streetlights down that way either?
No.
Yeah, I was thinking
No.
like country roads. There's not a lot of street lights on those, which makes no sense to me because it's pitch freaking black, you know. But yeah, that's a death sentence.
Yeah, this is one of those, it's like a long stretch, and there are 1, 2, maybe 3 red lights in total between where I start and where I end. So it's until you get to the populated areas again, because this is like right off to the side, away, more residential. I
Is
suppose.
it like unincorporated or just?
No, it's still part of the main town. It's just more like the residential portion of the town.
Gotcha.
So if you moved that 2 roads over, and then that's where you get into the commercial, and then you've got all the restaurants and what have you.
Right.
So yeah.
All the stuff happening, and you can see what's going on. Yeah. I don't know. Like we could probably bitch about driving a lot.
Oh yeah, because
the road rage is a term for a reason. Like. It's,
and I have it.
Everyone experiences it. Yeah. Oh, for sure. I thankfully these days, since I don't have to as much. Yeah, I know. Hate me. I'm very happy that I get to work from home. I hardly have to go anywhere. Made my life exponentially better. Sorry. Not having to be that pissed off for an hour every day before work just to go to a job that I knew I was going to hate and be pissed off for another 8 hours was just miserable. So not having it, like, that's made a big difference in my day.
Yeah. I mean, all right, since we're talking about driving to work, let's talk about work for a minute, because now granted we might not have a lot to bitch about.
It's like different experiences though.
Yeah. So I understand that some people don't care for their jobs. I want to say that
to an end for a lot of people. Yeah.
Sure. Like, is the job that I'm doing right now my dream job? No. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But I feel that at this point, this is where it's at. This is where I am, especially at this point in my life. I know I probably could maybe explore another option, but there's that innate fear that I don't want to start over.
Yeah, it sucks being the new person.
Yeah. And if I did start over, again, I want it to be worth my time. Like, it would have to be that job that I have been dying to get my hands on and I just wanted forever. But I don't see that happening because whatever thing. Yeah, whatever thing. I don't know.
Not everybody gets to do the things they want to do.
So there used to be a time within the company that I'm with now that I would say I absolutely hated my job. I don't know if I feel that way now. I wouldn't say, again, not a dream job.
Sure.
But I know my job. I know my job well. And I can do my job probably better than anybody in the building. And
I don't doubt that.
I also feel very confident in saying that should I leave, there's going to be a big problem. Within,
that is the dream fantasy, right? That everything just breaks down as soon as you leave.
and I don't say that with any ego, like, oh yeah, they'll fall apart without me, but there is a little truth to that, because one of the jobs that I do, I'm the only one that does it, and nobody else seems to know anything about it.
They've never tried to train a redundancy there just to cover their own butt in case something happens.
See, now when I started doing that job, and I don't want to go into great details, but there used to be a point in time where I was doing part of the job, and then there was somebody else doing another part of the job, and you could kind of split it down the middle to 2 sides of the building. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
So they were doing this, I was doing this, and the more as I was doing it, I was always waiting for the other person to finish their part of it, so then I could take care of filing it and what have you. And I just got to the point, like I think they took a vacation for an entire week, and I thought, why am I not doing this? You know, like why can't I just do all of it? So I started looking into their part of it and started looking to figure out what I needed to do. And it was, again, the same as mine, just different information that needed to be filed. So I just started doing it. And there was even another person who was not within our department, who was like a secretary doing part of that work. And I thought that they shouldn't even be doing that. You know?
Interesting.
Yeah. It was like they just gave her busy work or something like that. And that didn't set right with me. So I took it all back pretty much. And I said, I'm going to take care of it from here. And I even had some of the bosses ask, like, why are you doing all this now? And I said, because it just makes more sense. I said, this is our responsibility and I'm taking control of it. And they didn't push back. I was just like,
they figured they got a bargain there.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it didn't make any sense. I was just like, I don't understand why we have a secretary doing our job. You know what I mean?
Does the secretary still have a job, though? I hope you didn't get her fired.
No.
Not needed.
She retired after a few years. But,
after that, like, well, I have nothing to do now.
But yeah, I mean, it just, even, there was speaking of kind of the point that I'm making here, it didn't make any sense because there was an issue with one of these reports that they had filed, and this is like a 13-year-old report at this point, that actually came up, and I had to deal with it. And, you know, somebody out, you know, in the field, if you will, was complaining. It's like, this is not right, this is not right, this is not right. You know, we can't do anything with this. You know, this is going to cause problems with the project, yada, yada, yada. We need it fixed. And again, this was before I even did it. This is when they had her doing it, just, you know, churning it through. And I had to explain. I was like, I'm trying to correct this based on the information that I have. I'm trying to help, because they were getting really pissy. And I said, this was filed before I did anything. You know, this was done. And I didn't even explain a secretary did it. I just said, this was done before me. Before I even had any notion of what this is. I said, but I'm trying to help. I'm trying to get it fixed for you. I will do my best. But that was exactly my point in taking it back. Because someone needs to have all the information to know exactly what needs to be on every report. It doesn't need to be just churning it through a machine. You know what? I heard now that's supposed to be the manager. Supposed to be, yeah.
I know none of us know a manager that can do our job, but I have a feeling that was supposed to be their role before they were just making sure we did ours, and then realized there was really no place for them after we didn't come into the office all the time.
Well, you know what? There we go. There's a peeve, and I'm sure you've got some. Now, again, I'm gonna toe a line. I'm sure you'll need to as well. But this is the pet peeve that I have for my job. Now, like I said, I don't hate it. I can't say I love it, but I don't hate it. I can enjoy the day if I zone out.
Right.
A lot of my pet peeves come from people and their habits. Like this one son of a bitch who it really makes you wonder what amount of work this person does within a day, when their morning begins with 30 minutes of preparing a meal before starting work. You know, they come in with this sack of groceries, they put it in their little refrigerator, they throw something in a microwave, they go get a drink, they fill up a cup, they do all this shit before they actually sit down at their computer.
So not waking up in enough time to have breakfast, number one.
Well, I don't feel like this motherfucker has missed a meal. I'm not trying to body shame, but this is...
Well, I'm just saying, if you're getting to work and then making your food, you're probably allowing yourself to sleep another 30, 40 minutes because nobody stopped you from wasting your first 30, 40 minutes of work.
Oh, but there's more.
Oh,
okay. Then, this is around maybe 7:30, 8 o'clock, right? Then around 10, he whips out yet another meal. to pop in the microwave or another snack
So
or
that
something.
30 minutes later?
Well, this is about
I'm assuming a 9 a.m. start time, so maybe I don't know.
7 to 8 or
okay.
7:30, 8 o'clock, somewhere in there.
Okay.
10 o'clock, he's popping in something else in the microwave. 11:30 going out to lunch. But here lately, he's been making rounds, trying to walk off, I guess, whatever, or at least trying to make room for more food. Yeah, and I'm
trying to exercise at work. I don't know.
And before anybody kind of comes at me for body shaming, one, I've been a fat son of a bitch. Okay, I'll tell you that in a point blank.
Definitely were a larger gentleman when I knew you.
Yeah. So if you think that I'm just being hateful for the sake of hateful, no, I've been there. I got it right. Okay.
You know how hard it is to lose, and you know how easy it is to gain.
Mm-hmm. 2, this guy, I would kick him down a flight of stairs if I could. Okay. I don't like, this is how much I don't like this son of a bitch. And I've held back. In fact, I even had this thought process yesterday.
Are we having a Bill Burr moment here?
Yeah. So, have you ever heard those old tales about, where people are just like, God was testing me. God was testing me.
Yeah.
If I believed in a God, I believe he was testing me. And I think those people who actually killed those people who said that they spoke to God, this is what was happening, is that they were being tested and they failed. And then they're just like, well, God made me do it. God made me do it.
Yeah.
Because he was testing me, and then he just made me do it because he just wouldn't just back off.
He told me in the fires of a burning bush that I was supposed to. Yeah.
So I'm honestly thinking, like, if I had a conversation with God right now, and I would just be like, dude, can you just do something with this guy? And it's like, but I'm testing you. I'm just testing your resolve. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to kill him. And it's like, yeah, but if you could just a little bit longer, I know you can do it. And it's like,
I didn't pray for patience, so you can leave me alone. Thank you.
Yeah. That's where this guy has gotten to me. Every little thing that he does, every little sound, even the way he walks, it just has this
on your nerves.
arrogance about it.
Yeah.
He'll pop up some popcorn. That's his afternoon snack.
Oh, geez.
I swear to God.
The place always smells like food, is what you're telling me.
Yes, that is another part of it. I don't want to smell other people's fucking food. And they have these microwaves right in our little office space. So, sure, everything that's cooked, you have to smell it.
Yeah.
So you'll have this person's food and that person's food and that person's food all emanating in the fucking room together. So you have to sit there in it unless you want to smell it. And some guy, I don't even know what the hell he's microwaving, but it's been constantly, like every day, every afternoon around 12:30, 1 o'clock. He'll pop something in the microwave and it has this peppery smell. Like he's just heated up pepper. And I don't know what it is, but it's every single day.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's
What could
bizarre.
that be?
I don't know.
One day you'll just have to ask, like, dude, I've smelled this every day. What are you making?
Yeah. And for God's sake, stop.
Yeah.
Take it somewhere
Can you
else.
Not. Yeah.
Like when I first started working up there, because there was a time I was up there in this office space, then I got moved to another side of the building, then I came back, but I was downstairs and now they moved me back up.
Oh.
Whole big deal.
Circle of life. Yeah.
Yeah, but during that time, it went from having no microwaves and no refrigerator to now having all that stuff. And I'm assuming it was because the one that I'm talking about, the one that aggravates me the most, begged for it because, oh my God, his inconvenience. He's an arrogant son of a bitch, okay? That's another part of this that I want to make perfectly clear. I don't think he's a very good person at all. He's like one of these people, when you hear everyone in the room talking together, well, this is what I think, and here's what I think, in my opinion. Yeah, like his opinion is the only one that matters. Everybody else is stupid, and he's number one. Yeah. That's another reason I have a problem with him. That's the reason I will continue to shame him and hate him the way that I do, because I don't care.
Being a prick about other things in life, yeah.
And even his name, I just...
Well, you won't say that. We don't want to get you in too much trouble.
But I'm just saying. Just every little thing he does. Like even the popcorn. Yeah. You know what he does with that? He'll just get it out and just start shaking it as he's walking by.
Probably putting in more salt and shaking it around.
Yeah. It's just
Oh man, imagine how many times has he burnt it, and then you gotta sit there and smell burnt popcorn because
there's
that's
no
awful.
telling. Yeah, there's no telling.
Okay. At least he's good enough to never burn it.
Well, I won't say that, but
Oh, okay.
it just sits in there, so
Yeah.
popcorn
No, it's a
smells
hard
like
smell
popcorn.
to get rid of.
And
Yeah.
I just, there's no way away from it. And I've honestly tried to think, because I'm sure there's someone yelling right now, why don't you go talk to somebody in management? Who? Like, if I go to
What are you
HR.
gonna be like, a dude has too many lunches. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's genuinely what I've been trying to wrap my head around. It's like, what, if I did go to someone, what do I say?
Mhm.
Like, do I want to make it inconvenient for everybody and their microwaves and
Right,
the refrigerator? Like, I know I'm affecting other people because of one person,
Mm-hmm.
but
Right,
it's
yeah.
my inconvenience, and I can't. The misophonia, if you will, there are those sounds that he makes because he likes to hack up phlegm out of his throat every day.
No, I couldn't do that either. No.
The way he fills up his cup is loud. I don't know how this is possible, but every time
You might be extra sensitive to him now, though, too, because he's been on your nerves for so dang long.
Yeah, I genuinely think that's what it is, because how he will go over to, they've got this big Brita filter, water dispenser in the refrigerator, and how he fills it up, it's just loud. It's just like glug 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 glug.
Does
And
he have like the big 62-ounce cup? So
it's
just
one of
taking
those
forever?
big metal cups.
Yeah.
So I think it just makes more noise.
Mhm.
And oh my God. It's
Yeah.
so I'm trying to isolate all this out. So it's either sit in the room and listen to all that and just watch because it's literally like a lit fuse at this point. The moment I hear it, I tense up. Like my brain just shuts off, aggression, tense up, like I will attack.
Mhm.
And I don't want that. So I have to stay within podcasts. Anytime he goes to the refrigerator, because I know what he's getting ready to do, I'll turn on music and kind of turn it up a little bit to drown it out. Because if I hear even just the slightest little hint of it, tense up.
I'm the same way. I don't like little noises that's constantly going off around me all day long. Drives me crazy. Probably why I miss so many texts and phone calls, because I leave that shit on vibrate because I just can't.
Mm-hmm.
It drives me nuts.
Oh, he's also a clicker and a tapper. He has his pin clicks,
yeah.
and then sometimes you'll just hear him dancing his feet on a mat under his desk, and he's just like, "What are you doing? Stop!
Stop doing it."
See, it's just already making me angry now.
Yeah, no,
but-
those things, I'm glad I get to avoid, because like I'm in the opposite. I've worked 2 days in an office my whole time, and the rest of my working, in an office has been from home, ever since the Rona. Thankfully, I've not had to serve tables anymore, because my God, could I give you a list of peeves from just being in front of customers for 20 years of my life that, but working in that office for 2 days, I don't know how y'all get anything done. I really don't. Like, I know everyone's complaining. I know it's just the owners complaining that they're paying for office space that they're not using as much anymore, which, fun fact, you could not have that office space. No one's forcing you to rent it. But, the collaborative spirit, and people are just so much more productive when they have someone right there that they can talk to some of that, sure, maybe, fine. And I think it's up to the individual, though, too. I personally am way more productive here. I don't have distractions. I don't have, kids running up to me all day long, need my attention and all this kind of stuff. I got nothing done when I was in the office, hardly, like anything, because people would be walking by, conversations would happen, someone would loudly cackle, and then you're like, prairie dogging out of the cubicle, like, what's going on? What's going on? What's happening over here? Who's talking to me? Everyone's phone calls. I can hear all, and I'm not built for all of that going on around me and then trying to stay productive. I don't know how y'all do it. Now, maybe if that's how I was the whole time, that I would have adapted, sure, and all this kind of stuff. But stop trying to tell me, that the drive to work is your moment of peace, so you love that traffic before you get to work and all the people that you work with and blah, blah, blah. Like, no. Case in point, all your day now is listening to all these people hacking up phlegm, microwaving lunches, and all of these smells. If you were doing it from home, you probably get your shit done in like 5 hours. You wouldn't need the full 8. Because you wouldn't be constantly having to like move around and do all this kind of stuff, you know? I don't know. So I think it's still situational because I work with some people that I truly believe need to go into the office because what the hell are you doing? You're doing nothing. You need someone supervising you. I can see, you know, we're both clocked in the same amount of times. What are you doing? So if you have a bunch of kids, maybe you need to go to the office. I know that sounds horrible, but it's like all of us have to do the extra work now because you were making lunches and doing laundry and then running an errand and then I'll be right back. And it's like, that doesn't seem fair either.
Mm-hmm.
So work-life balance, I'm all for it though. Like I feel like all I'm doing is just trying to sell you a chunk of my time so that I can make bills. I participate in capitalism because that's the society that was set up before I got here. I had no say. And and if I could just be like unincorporated off the grid and you left me the hell alone, government and all, I'd be the happiest. But I know no one's going to let me do that because everyone wants to buy all of the land and I'm not allowed to just reside anywhere. So here we are, right? I would, trust me.
Mm-hmm.
If I could go off and like, I'd learn to make my own food. I would figure that shit out. I like to cook, you know, I'd be fine. I might miss the internet a little bit now that I'm used to it. But outside of that, I think I'd be fine. I wouldn't have to be 2 feet from the next house beside me, listening to their baby cry every time they want their window up, you know, like just other people.
Mm-hmm.
Just other people. So yeah, I don't know how you all do it day to day. But again, I guess if I started there, it would be a lot different. But I didn't. I got to do it from here. And so then when you put me in an office, I'm like, this sucks. And it's just a large open room with all of these bright lights, you know, I'm just like, nothing about this is comfortable and cozy.
But I can 100% agree with everything that you're saying. Being in that situation, like what I would give to just see everybody do their fair share. Right, because I know we even heard about that where, you know, a lot of businesses are trying to go back to office.
Oh, yeah. Mine is doing it, too. I started to get nervous that I was going to get booted or something because they were like 2 days a week. We're going to make you do that. Now they're doing 3 days a week. I guarantee you come 2024, maybe we should go back to 4. They're just like slowly pushing you back to 5 days.
But at the same time, I mean, if you see productivity from certain employees who are doing it from home, I don't feel like they should be the ones punished for it.
It is one of those things where it feels like it has to be all or nothing and people ruin it for others. I kind of feel like it should be a privilege. Maybe you'll hate me for that. Like, if you're seeing like someone like myself who's extremely productive at home, not to toot my own horn or anything like that, and I've never been in an office atmosphere, so I didn't know. Apparently, I'm very good at being productive and getting this job done. Like, more so than a normal human, which I had no basis of comparison. So I have learned this now over the years, just listening to my supervisor talk, other people talk, seeing what I accomplish and seeing what they accomplish, which is normal. I'm like, okay, I need to shut up a little bit because apparently I'm exceeding a little bit more in a thing than other people do. Hard for me to wrap my brain around, but fine. But if you were to put me in the office and all of a sudden now I'm at half of what I was doing, what's the problem now?
Yeah.
Are you going to have this conversation with, well, what's happened with your productivity all of a sudden? You know, well, you're distracting the heck out of me all day long. Now, if there's someone who's not doing crap all from home and you bring them in the office and you see productivity go up, maybe they need to be in the office. But I understand there's always going to be those people that, well, if it's okay for her to be home, if it's okay for her to be in the office, and that's where it's going to start. And that's when they're going to be like, screw it, everyone comes back then now.
But see, that's where management needs to step up and be like, yeah, but here's the difference between you and her. She's productive, you are not.
Yeah.
You know, stop being catering and, you know, kowtowing to these people and just tell them the truth.
Right.
You were not productive, therefore you had to come in. So it's that
start
simple.
learning to do as much as you do here at home, and we'll have that conversation again. I don't know. And maybe that's just me being like, stop punishing me. This is why I hate being graded as a group. Another pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you're in a group atmosphere and you're only as good as your weakest link. And I know most of it's collaborating and you're supposed to be on a team and all that stuff, but I'm happier. Just give me what I need to be doing and then screw what everybody else has to do or whatever. And like, I'm in my own, that would be my perfect job, honestly.
Sure.
Well, my second perfect job, my first perfect job, I'm never going to get, but my second perfect job, just leave me alone. And once I'm done with my stuff, I'm done. See you later. I don't need to rely on anybody else. Nobody else should have to rely on me, even though you would get it sooner than you wanted it because it's me, because that's just how I roll. And I've been told that a million times. Hey, you're quick. Yeah, I'm paying attention. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
I saw your email. I didn't ignore it for 4 hours. You know, that's the difference. I'm paying attention. When I'm here, I'm working, you know. But everybody's different. I'm told I'm supposed to chill and accept that. And to a degree, I do. But sometimes I'm just like, what? Or if I'm fixing your stuff all the time and it's been 2 years, because that's my peeve. I've complained to you about this one person that has been there this whole time. And I'm still to the point where I'm like, how are you here? You've learned nothing. You've been here 2 years. I'm training you on stuff again last week.
Yeah.
And most of the month at the end is spent me finding all of the mistakes and having to fix them. So I'm like, so what help were you throughout the entire month if you messed up 50% of it? The other 50% you weren't even present for. What are we doing here?
Exactly. That's
what
ridiculous.
are we doing here? It starts to make me wonder, and I know this is horrible and you shouldn't do that, but I'm like, who are they related to? Who are they married to? Because like it's so bad that I can't understand why we'd keep spending that kind of money on someone's mistakes. Because it's big dollar mistakes when we make mistakes, you know? We're sending large machinery to sites. We're sending large amounts of pallets of material to site. If I send it to the wrong address, if I ordered a lift on a date it wasn't supposed to be there and nobody knew it was there and sat for a month, that's thousands of dollars that we're just
Yeah.
But apparently it's fine, because I've caught this so many times now that apparently that it's just fine. If I knew I only had to be good 50% of the time, I might have approached this job differently.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean,
I'm like, oh, I only need to be right sometimes? Fine, I can do that.
But that also seems to be a very common workplace practice. There's that one person that you cannot figure out. But
how they got it.
They have something. I know one person at my job, and it was actually one of the first people that I actually worked for while I was there. They were problematic and still are to this day. So many people have gone to HR on this person, complained about workplace harassment, sexual harassment, just some of the things that he has said and done to people. I have witnessed it firsthand. Like one of the very first incidents that I had, like when I first got there, I was brought into like this round table thing where they were having like one-on-one discussions with people about his behavior. I was new. So when they asked me, I was like, I haven't seen anything. I said,
I don't know anyone yet.
Yeah, I said, I really don't feel like I'm the one to be talking about this because I personally have not had any issues with this person. So I can't speak to it.
Right.
You know, so I said, I'm sorry that if that may hurt the case for other people, but I am not the person to talk to because I don't know him.
Right.
So,
which is fair.
Yeah, I apologize. So I didn't. But sure enough, there was a pattern. Be your friend for a little while, kind of get you in, and then there's going to be that one day it's going to turn. And sure enough, it happened when my grandmother passed.
Oh, God.
Okay, I called in saying, hey, I'm not coming in. I just found out my grandmother passed, and, you know, I need to get my, you know, shit in order. And he's like, well, somebody else already called in, so... And I was like,
oh, that sucks for you. Then I guess you'll be 2 people down today. Have a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the days that I just, like, I did not care. I was like, well, too bad. And I hung up, you know, because it was just like, I couldn't believe that he couldn't even have the decency to just be like,
I'm
man.
sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, you take your time or something like that. So that was the one and only time I actually went to HR on him because I was like, I don't even know what I expect you to do. I said, but I just want you people to know how inconsiderate and cold-hearted this son of a bitch is. So just whatever.
Yeah.
His boss apologized to me, and I told him, I was like, don't apologize for him. You don't have to apologize for anything. You didn't do it. I said, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And it was just, I never got an apology from the motherfucker. And so he can kiss me. From that point on, I was just like, he can go to hell for all I care.
That brings up a good one, because that's another big pet peeve of mine too. People that have so much hubris that they cannot apologize for a mistake drives me up a wall. Nothing will make me respect you less, almost to this day. There's quite a few things, of course, but that's right up there. That where you will lose that respect for me instantly, and it's gone. Yeah, I'll be nice to you. I'll be cordial and get through my day. But we're done. We're done. And I've had several instances like that there where they were egregiously in the wrong. But, they knew they were right. They knew they were right. And here's my favorite example. I was working, we call them an issue if there's something that we need to have addressed right away because someone's on site and we got to figure out what's going on. So I had worked one of those for somebody else who had ordered a lift. You're not going to guess who it was. The person I'm just talking about, who happened to just put it on site, wrong date, wrong everything. Everything was wrong about this. And they sent me an email, CC'd in their own boss. This is where it was great. CC'd their boss in to the email to me, took pictures and screenshots and circled things and had this whole thing presented out for it to be another admin. Wasn't even me. And I'm looking through it, and as soon as I got to the email part that he so happily circled everything around, never once realized that it wasn't my email address, wasn't my name. So I had a little fun reply all moment where I got to break down, here's how you could tell who worked a thing. First, you could go into the task and open it up, and at the top, there's flags, and I took a picture and circled it. Right here shows the person's name, date, and time that it was completed. Second way you can tell, see in the emails how it's not my email address and it's this other person's? You circled all of the other things but the email address. So that's another. Third way to know, and I made sure to point it out, point for point, because boss was CC'd, so they have to know, right? Mm-hmm. Supervisor, was supposed to know I did something wrong, so let's reply all and let his supervisor decide who was actually in the wrong here. But now to your point about the issue that I did work, and I laid it out point for point, and then I CC'd in my boss also, and I'm and I will have him address the problem with the other admin because it's not my place. I never heard anything. Never got an apology or anything at all. And so now I've learned in office atmospheres, if you hear nothing, you won. Mm-hmm. Because apparently you get to a point in a position where you just decide, well, whatever. I don't have to apologize, even though I was wrong.
Yeah, and it's
hurt. I would have respected you so much more if you would have just said, yeah, that was my mistake. And it still blows my mind that, that took some time to take all of these screenshots and circle it. And never once, it never clicked with you that none of this was my work. Mm-hmm. What? You're supposed to be a supervisor? What, dude? But that's happened to me 3 times there where I've called them out on it being wrong and I've heard nothing. And I'm just oh. So that's why I decided, I said this in Discord one day where it's so apparently you have to test positive for Dunning-Kruger when you get up in an office atmosphere, the higher up you go, because you are so confident about things you have no idea. And you're willing to bring in a lot of people to your mistake because you're so confident that you're correct. And then that's what makes it more fun for me, is when they've decided to bring in all these people because they were so sure and they were going to call you out on it. Just for us to all be that's not what that was. And then do you hear anything? Mm-hmm. No.
I'm glad that you've brought this up because there is at least one instance where I feel like I've encountered that I can remember. Now, I may have encountered that at some other point before, but just one kind of sticks in my head. And I was always curious as to why I never heard back. And now I'm starting to be holy shit, did I?
You probably were right. And they just could not find it within themselves to say, I'm sorry for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I'm very quick to apologize because what? No one died. Who cares? Mm-hmm. Humans make mistakes. Let's just fix it and move on. Oh, crap. You're right. I noticed I did this, or this. Let me do this to correct. Mm-hmm. We all moved on in a lot faster of time than me having to sit there and listen to you point for point, all of these things that had nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Time saver, even. Efficient. I'm sorry. You're right. I see that I did that. I'm going to do this, this, and this, and we'll get that fixed. Does that sound fair? Fair. Cool. Move on with our day.
That's the way I look at it.
I don't know why you got to sit there and be so pious the whole time just to make sure. Like, there's something fun for some people that gotcha. Like, to embarrass someone in front of someone. I'll never understand that mindset. But for some people, I think they truly enjoy that. And then when you're wrong, though, I don't know. To be so confident to keep moving forward like that after being busted out so many times, you would think one would start to wonder, hey, maybe I got to start paying attention.
Ooh.
I know. That's a hard one to grasp. I've got to pay attention. But anyway.
Now, another work, and I'm sure you have encountered this. I would at least imagine you have, since you have to deal with emails.
Oh, God, yeah.
The one that gets on my nerves so bad are the non-responses you get from emails. Not from that situation, but you're asking a question to someone who should have the answer.
God, yes.
And you're just waiting. Like someone came to you. I've had these instances several times. Someone comes to me for assistance, and there's part of my job is why they came to me, but then there's another part of it that requires another person. Like they deal with this portion of it. Now, I try to do my best in ensuring that I have the information when I'm doing, my job so that everything is covered. But for whatever reason, there's and we've even discussed this, me and the person that I've been talking to about this. I don't know. There feels like there's a misstep in the way things are done. You know what I mean? Like, if this thing is so important, then why are we not waiting until after everything is finalized before I do my job? Because once I do my job, that feels like that's stamped, done, and that
We're
it's
moving
finished.
on to the next thing.
Yeah.
It's done.
But clearly there's some information that I need to have, and this guy doesn't have it. So the people out in the facility don't have it, so they're not putting it on there. So I don't have it. So it just feels like there's this one piece of information that needs to be
Who's
had.
doing that? Yeah.
So again, I have to. Luckily, I can still add it in after the fact, so it's not a big deal. But still, I still feel like there's a problem within the hierarchy.
You could get that done at the same time.
Yeah. But for whatever reason, the other person has to email other people. They have to put in requests, orders. I don't know. It's a whole thing I don't understand. Mm-hmm. And they seem to be the only person in the whole facility that does it, that deals with it. Which I could argue that that's a problem, but at the same time, that's also me. Because
Right,
I am also that guy.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that deals with this one thing. And so you email this person, be like, hey, I'm looking for this. Would you happen to know the information? Mm-hmm. Silence. And there was a day, I feel like early in the year, it really just set me off because there was like 3 or 4 problems all came at me at once. Mm-hmm. And I emailed all these people.
The gatekeeper of all of that info.
Well, these were several different problems from several different people, and I had sent emails to 7 different people and got no fucking responses. So all that did was just anger me. Like I got upset at a friend of mine at work for something that I shouldn't have, and I did apologize.
See? Already better than 9/10 of the humans out there.
Well, the only reason I had to apologize, and here's another pet peeve of mine.
You're like,
people
don't ruin it. I was just praising you. And you're like, the only reason.
Well, no, there is another pet peeve that kind of attaches to that. So, people who don't know how to keep their fucking mouth shut. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Because what happened that day, the day that I was really having a bad day, and no one was responding to my emails, and then there was another problem I was trying to deal with, so I had reached out to my friend in hopes of getting their assistance to kind of speed this up. Now, they're not at the same speed I am. And when I say that, I know whether it be you or, well, yeah, you would know firsthand. How do I play platformers?
Yeah.
Guacamelee. You saw me just barreling through,
Yep,
and you
yep.
guys were trying to keep up.
We were just getting drug along, basically. Yep.
And I couldn't help it because my brain's just like, go.
Yeah.
I'm
This
already
is what
figuring
needs
it
to
out.
do.
I'm going, and no one else is keeping up. I'm not thinking about you. I'm just like, well, I'm playing the game, and I'm going. And if you got to keep up with me because I know how to get there. Come on.
Right. Let's go.
And I don't mean nothing by it. It's just my brain is being like, well, come on,
Right?
you know.
No, I can understand that too.
So it's in that same vein, okay? How I do it and how they do it are not going to be equal. So I'm sitting here trying to get, my half of it done, and I'm just like barreling through it, boom, 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 and then I'm not seeing any movement on there, and I'm just like, what?
Yes.
But it's unfair for me to compare what I do to what they do, and again, I had all these things just because no one was responding to me, no one was helping, and it just felt like all week no one was helping me. So they got dragged into my frustrations because of the other people. Now, what I had done is at the end of the day, it was a Friday afternoon, and I had just decided to go vent to another friend. And I was just like, this and this and this and this. And then I brought up the friend frustration. But as I was talking to them about it, I was working it through in my head because I'm very positive that I was like, I understand that it's not their fault. They're not me. I'm not trying to be angry. I'm just, I don't know. I'm frustrated. Like I knew in my heart and in my head that I was not angry at them.
Right.
That I was trying to process this frustration, and they got sucked into the vacuum, and I didn't want to be upset. So I was hoping that if I would just talk it out with someone, I could process like I was doing.
Yeah.
And then I would deal with it. So come Monday, I was going to go chat with him and just kind of, I don't know, just be like, hey, I wasn't trying to be, a dick not talking to you last week or anything like that. I was just frustrated, and then apologize for just, where I was at, because again, it's not their fault.
Right.
Well, I didn't get a chance to do that because the person I went to vent to ran to them and was just like, oh, they're mad at you because of this. And I was like, are you shitting me?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Man.
So I didn't even realize this at first, but I had set up a vacation day that day, and they're usually my backup. So I just kind of sent them a notification saying I'm going to take a vacation day this day, and, and then I was going to go chat with them about it later, like I normally do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then I got like a decline on my invitation notice, and I was like, decline? Like, what? Okay. And that just, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So in my head, I was like, all right, something's happened. So I go over there, and sure enough, they were pissed at me for going and talking shit about them behind their back. And I was like, no. I said, I was not talking bad about you behind your back. I said, if I was going to talk bad about you behind your back, do you think I would go to your other friend, someone who knows you? I said,
that seems silly.
That makes no sense. Of course, I wouldn't go to them and just be like, well, here's what I think about her, because that doesn't make any sense. Yeah. I said, so that's how I kind of started the conversation. I was like, why do you think that I would even go to them to bitch about you? Come on. Yeah. And I said, furthermore,
totally just bitching to you, basically.
Yeah. So I pretty much had to plead my case in hopes that they would understand. And luckily, everything's fine. We're still pals.
Ooh, but on that person you told, though,
that other person, I have not spoken to them since. Because I
don't
was
blame you actually at that point, because you don't know what they're gonna say now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, so I went back there trying to work out my problems, and you decided to weaponize that and ruin a friendship for me. So screw you.
Yeah.
I've got no use for you anymore.
I don't know what people are thinking when they're doing that kind of backstabby stuff, though, either. Yeah. It's like, do you think they're never going to find out it was you? Or do you not care? That's another part, too, where I just couldn't imagine not feeling bad about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how I was raised, or if I just have some sort of guilt for other things that I probably don't need to have guilt over. But, man, I would feel bad.
Yeah. And I guess I was honestly, like you said, I don't know what their mindset, like, what did you think was going to happen? Like, we were just going to be cool after that?
Right. Like, we'll just go have a beer now after work
Yeah.
and everything's all hunky-dory. Yeah, no.
Because clearly they don't care because they've not reached out. They've not said anything. And I have no intention. However, I will say this. As far as being the high road, I have ran into that person. I mean, granted, it's a pretty big facility. We don't really see each other that often, but there's been one instance where I've had to walk past them, and I just went, "Hey," and kept walking.
There you go. Yeah.
I just felt it. I'm not going to let this drag me down. It's just going to be they've turned into a person I thought I could confide in and talk with.
I had to learn the tough way.
Yeah, to a person that's just like everybody else in that building that I don't really talk to. It's just somebody that happens to work here. And that's where you wound up now. And I even told them one time before, I said, my circles are very small. And if you fuck me over, that'll be the end of it.
Yeah.
So they got it
especially
firsthand.
when it's an intentional like that. There could be conversations if there was something accidental or something like that, but that was intentional. You knew what you were doing when you went straight to them. It was just like, oh, guess what they're saying now? Like you were stirring the pot. You were probably hoping for a little drama.
Oh, that was another thing too, is I did not, for the longest time, I would defend this person because I never thought things that other people said about them, about being dramatic, was accurate because I never witnessed it.
Sure.
But there were other people who've been on the other side of that who just like the drama that this person likes to stir up. And I was like, all right, well, I mean, I've not seen it. I say clearly, you have, but I don't know. I don't have any. I've not seen it.
And I still think that's the right approach to take because not everyone has the same experience with each individual person. So your experience may be fine, you know? Unfortunately, it sounds like they were correct, though, in this situation. But, oof. Yeah. It's always tough when it's a coworker, someone that you're going to have to see all the time. Like, I'm sure we've all had that, Like, shoot, just me even working in restaurants. There's always one. There's always one. And I might have been the one for some people. I'm not going to lie. I
never know.
I wanted things to get done. And if you were the one constantly leaving the milk out or replacing the creamer or back when I was a teenager, huffing all of the frickin' nitrous out of a whipped cream can. So now I can't make the frickin' dessert. Like it's just shit like, why are you making my job harder? This job already sucks. And you guys are making it worse. Why? And I think maybe I wish I wasn't brought up with a good work ethic because sometimes I think that's what bites me in the butt. Most people are like, it's just a job. It's whatever. And you're right. But for some reason, I take pride in what I do. Yeah. And it drives me crazy when other people don't do it the same way, or at least with the same amount of care. I don't know until I got too mad. But was it my place? No, it wasn't my place to say anything. So I could have very well been that person that people complained about having to work with all the time. And I recognize that because I was not a happy person in a restaurant.
Yeah.
And so unfortunately it bled into other things,
But seriously, think about it. With that mindset, because I'm the same way. I
agreed to do a job, do the job. Jesus.
Yeah.
Like.
And I have, you may have it too. I have perfectionist brain. If it can be done better, it can be done more efficiently, I'm going to find it. Yeah. And it might not be immediately, but I'm going to find the way and it's going to happen. And then I'm going to streamline this way to do it, for me at least, to do it as fast and efficient as possible. And that's how 9 times out of 10, when you have these situations where someone has asked for something, and then I get these responses from emails after I give them what they asked for, and they're like, wow, that was fast. I'm like,
I get those too.
Yeah.
And I was thorough. You're always so thorough and quick. I can't. And I'm like, am I the only one? You asked me what was going on. And so I looked into it and I went, so I could see on this date, this happened. It looks like this was sent back and forth. Here's the attachment showing the email chain or the blah, 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 blah.
It's not hard.
It didn't take me that long,
Yeah. But they act like you performed a miracle.
And that's what I think is so great. Like, I feel like a rock star when I feel like I'm just doing my job, which should speak volumes. And again, I'm not trying to tell people just go live your life for your job and overwork for your job and everything, because I'm the same way. I want to make a means to an end. I'm not trying to make it my life. We only get one shot at it, and I don't want to spend 80 hours of my week at work. Sorry. I don't care about your fourth yacht. I just want to put food on the table and maybe take a vacation every once in a while. Thanks, you know?
Right.
So I'm not going to sell all of my life to you, but in those 40 hours, I'm going to do my work, and then I'm going to leave. And then I'm not going to touch it until I clock in the next day. You know, is it the job that I have now? Could I be doing stuff to help on the weekends? Sure. But that's my time.
Oh, yeah.
That's my time. So I at least made sure to put that foot down right away. Because in a restaurant, it's a different thing. You're basically leaving when business declines. You have no idea when you're getting off work any night you go in. You have a start time. I always thought it was great when people are like, well, what time you get off? I'm like, that's funny. I don't know. It could be 9 p.m. if it's dead. It could be 1 a.m. if somebody wants to camp. I don't know. Campers, you people who, that's another big pet peeve of mine that I thankfully don't have to deal with anymore. You people who think you just stay at a restaurant after it's closed for hours on end drive me crazy. Would you like me to go into your job and go, hey, I'm just going to sit here in your office for 2 or 3 hours and chat with my friend, and you have to be here because I'm in your office? How cool would you be about that? But you're going to come in 20 minutes before close and stay 2 hours past close? Screw you. All of us are tired. We all want to go home. You're keeping kitchen. You're keeping me. You're keeping a manager. He can't do his closing out either, or she, because they got to do the money at the end of the day. You're still spending money. Bartender's probably still stuck there too because you're drinking. So you got 4 freaking people who have to just sit there, literally, because there's nothing else to do. Everything else has been cleaned, moved on, left. Just your ass is. Oh, and a busser probably too, unless you make some sort of agreement to like, oh, I won't tip you out on this table. I'll take care of it, or blah, 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 whatever you got to do. So then the busser's like, screw it. I don't want your $2. I'm leaving, which is fair. I'd probably say the same thing. I don't care about that $2. I'm going home. Sorry, you're cleaning your own table tonight. And then you get more mad about that because you're having to do even more stuff at the end of the day because all the people have left. So stop it. Stop it. Go somewhere else. Like, it's your job. No, my job was to work until we close, not to stay here 2 hours afterwards because you couldn't be bothered to go to a bar that's still open till 2 a.m., not a restaurant that closed at 10. And then you have the audacity to ask me to take your picture a million times. Wow. Sorry, guys. Ever since smartphones came into play, dining is so long now. And I can say that because I was a server before the smartphones and after the smartphones. And you humans are causing your dinner to be longer because of these damn things. You're always looking at them, so you're never ready to order. You constantly think we're your photographer now, so screw all the other tables I have to do so I can take your picture. And then, I'm sorry, why am I taking it with all of your phones? Do you not know each other? Can you not text each other the picture? So why are you handing me 4 freaking phones? That's a huge pet peeve of mine. Just text it to your other 3 friends, or AirDrop. I hear that this Apple has that you could do. Like, why am I using all of your phones and ignoring all of my other responsibilities right now? I hate those things so freaking much. And then you always have it on the table where I'm trying to set shit.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get mad if something gets spilled on it. The table, where do you see the cell phone corner? Put it in your pocket or in your purse or out of the way. Don't get mad at me because I'm trying to refill your water and it got spilled on. It shouldn't be there. Those things have made serving so horrible. So if you're that person, get out when they close. 1 picture's fine. Text it to your friends. They're not your photographer. They've got 30 other things that other tables want. You know what you want? Their other tables probably want to right now, and they can't because you're holding them there while all of you pose and fix your lipstick and move stuff around on the table so the food looks cool. You know, like I have nothing better to do. Nothing better to do. Oh yeah, no, I'm happy to stand here and watch you futz with your makeup and your hair and your lipstick and making sure the food's facing the right way. And I'd love to do it 5 times. Sure. Oh, I know you wanted a beer, sir, 20 minutes ago. I'm taking their picture. So this is more important right now. It's girls' night out. I have to take their picture. you know. Yes, I hate those people so much. I hated them so much when I was serving tables. I was just like, I have 40 things in my head I have to do right now. And oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Get your phone out of the way. Stop it. So yes, you all are making the experience a lot longer because of those damn things. Used to get you in and out. Now you got to keep messing with it or take a picture of the food or leave everything's longer because you guys just can't get off the fucking phone for a dinner.
And the argument that they make, it's your job.
No, it's not. Nowhere in my job description did it say I was photographer. Nowhere. My job is to take your order, bring you food, and get you the hell out so we can get a new person in there. No, all of these things were you made it up in your head. Mm-hmm. You made it up in your head.
But I guess what I was leaning toward was the fact that it's your job for you to be staying there much longer. And I was like, again, you have a job too, goddammit. Mm-hmm. And do you want to stay there longer than you're supposed to? No. You want out.
And I guarantee your job didn't require a shower at the end of your day, so it probably wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
Mentally taxing and physically taxing are two different things. I've done both now, and I still think a restaurant is harder because you're both mentally and physically taxed at the end of the day. The mentally taxation that I'm doing now, sure, it'll get you there. You're tired, you're drained, you don't even want to talk anymore, it's over. But to have the physicality on top of it, and then when you're doing that at the end of my day, we hate you. Just know we hate you. Just know you're getting decaf, okay? Just know you're getting decaf. You wanted regular? Well, guess what's made? Decaf is what's made. And there's nobody else here, so no, I'm not making. Yeah, it's a fresh pot. Made it 5 minutes ago.
Did you taste
I will switch that lid and walk straight to your table and not feel. I will never go the other way. I will never give someone regular who wants decaf. That could be a medical condition or something like that. Like I won't do that. But you will get decaf at the end of your day. And I guarantee you, if you've stayed past close and you've ordered a regular coffee, you've all been served decaf at some point in your life. You might have gotten regular if there was still regular, but if we've already cleaned that machine and shut it down, you're getting whatever's made. Because you're here after close now, and we don't care about you as much anymore. I know there's some people who love their job, and there are exceptions to this rule. But the people I've always worked with, if you kept us there past close, we weren't going to do anything mean to your food. Okay, it's not a waiting situation. I don't do that stuff. But I will pay less attention to you so you feel abandoned and want to leave.
I mean, I feel like it's an apt slogan for service industry that the job wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't for the people.
Totally. If you guys just did what the restaurant, how it's supposed to flow, it would go so much nicer. And then also if you're in a restaurant that takes reservations and you want to stay all night, like you're screwing up the whole flow of everything. And I know it's my night out. I'm allowed. And you're right. You are. However, because serving is so dumb in how we're paid, you're costing that server lots of money by just staying in their section for that long.
Yeah.
If you want to stay and drink, go to the bar. And again, you have every right to stay comfortable at the table and have those drinks. And I know it's not fair for the way that the industry treats the employees that you should have to abide by any of these things, to be fair, you know. But again, I hate you for it. So get out of my life. Get out of my life. Because we used to have people that were consistently wanted to come that close to close. Like consistently. And it drove me crazy because I just knew every Friday night I'm going to be there till 2 a.m. I got out of bartending, so I wasn't getting home at 2 a.m. Yet here I am having to stay because these people won't leave and they want to come in 20 minutes before close every time. I've never seen them in the daylight. You know what I mean? Like it's... What do you people do all day long that you just can't start your day till 11 p.m.? Like, I don't know. And these were older folks, which made me feel like lame because I was in my 30s going, what are you doing starting your day at 11? You know, and they're like in their 50s. I'm like, how are you even handling this? Like, I want to go home and go to bed, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Just be nice to your servers and stop stopping them to do all of these non-servery things. I get it. Let them take one picture. But again, just text the rest of them. I was in a group that did that once. And I was just like, we were all servers going for like a Christmas party. And they started handing them a bunch of phones. And I'm like, guys, we are all servers. Can you not just text us all this picture? We're in the group text right now. That's how we organize the lunch.
Yeah.
what are you doing to this poor server? You know, and they're going to be nice about it, but like, let them go.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen 2 people working right now, and we have one of them. You know, it's like a lunch shift. There's not that many people on there. Let this poor person go make money, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. And then we're loud and obnoxious and taking over the whole. Yeah, if you're that person too, that was always annoying. Or you bring in all your kids and feel like you never have to watch them.
Oh, let's talk about that real quick. Children. Okay, look. I know I can't speak to anybody who has kids and those who don't. I'm sorry if you do not have kids and a parent has ruined your evening with their kids. But you know what?
Even the opposite problem. I've had regulars who got babysitters and were pissed that they paid $50 for a babysitter and still had to listen to your frickin' kids for 2 hours because you couldn't keep them under control and letting them run around. And then it's going to be my fault when something gets spilled on your child because you couldn't keep them in their seat. And that's what drove me crazy.
Yeah. See, when my first marriage, okay, I had this fear anytime we went to a restaurant because I didn't want to do that to anybody. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. A
that's
decent
where,
person. Like, you realize there's more than just you in the world. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if it was McDonald's, sure.
Well,
that's different. That's like going
a showbiz, whatever. That's what it's there for, right?
Exactly. You take them to the little play area, and then they go get the germs and bring home a virus or whatever, and that's that's the whole deal.
Do it again next weekend.
Yeah. But a big restaurant, a sit-down restaurant, I was always like, God damn it, I don't want to.
But yeah,
I don't want to do that because it would just, in my head, I'm just like, who are we going to be bothering? Like one time, because as I'm sitting here complaining about it, I know that there's been one instance where we've done this, and I didn't care for it. But babies in theaters, fuck you.
What that is the baby does getting not out of that at all, for sure. Like,
exactly. Baby does not need to be there. Baby is going to disrupt the entire thing. And why was this movie so important for you to come out and bring your child?
They're selfish.
Selfish.
They had a child. They didn't realize that they weren't going to be able to just come and go as they pleased anymore and be damned anyone else. I haven't been able to go out in a long time, so I'm just going to bring it and everybody's going to have to deal with it. That is the mindset.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't realize that there's things you just can't do all the time anymore once you have kids.
Yep.
Sorry.
Pure selfishness.
Sorry.
But
things have to go on hold when you decide to breed. It's just how it should be, and it shouldn't be the rest of our problem.
That's right. I mean, there are a lot of things I would love to do now, but I mean, she's not incapable. I mean, she's
I feel like
9.
she would sit still. You could probably go to a dinner and like at least for an hour and a half, and she'd be fine. But I mean, you got us to understand, children just have a shorter attention span. Yeah. They're not going to be able to just sit there for 2 hours and be chill.
I mean, so the child that I'm referring to right now, Calliope, my youngest, she was like, we've recently started to take her to the theater. So we took her for like Super Mario Brothers. We took her for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Okay. This is something she'll actually pay attention to. She is of an age, like I said, she's 9.
And that's a movie geared for kids also. So I would expect kids to be there.
Those are even movies that she herself were kind of excited to go see. So,
good.
We knew that she's not going to be a problem. Taking her to the theater is not a problem now. Now, if it's a movie that we kind of wanted to see and thought that maybe we could just bring her along, kind of like what was one of the last Marvel movies? I don't remember. But whatever one of those were, we took her, I think Guardians of the Galaxy, because she'd always kind of had a rocket obsession at one point. She kind of seemed like she's watching it, but at the same time, it's a little up here.
A little adult, yeah.
Yeah, you just kind of see her wallow around. It's just like, well, as long as you're not disturbing anybody, I'm not going to get on to you. But if other people are sitting around us, you're going to have to sit up and sit still, because I don't want you disturbing anybody. But there was a time, I think, when the first Star Wars reboot, Episode 7 or whatever came out, my parents, my dad was like, oh, we're going to take everybody to go see it. And I was like, all right, if you want to. And again, she was itty bitty, and I was like, I don't really feel like this is a great idea, but whatever. And at some point, she was, I think, 1, maybe.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Maybe. And so at some point, I had already seen it. And I took her out to the lobby and I was like, I'm not doing that to people. Come on.
And see, parents who do that too, I can respect. Like, you were trying to have a night out, but as soon as the baby started to get upset, you took us somewhere else to quiet it down, walk it around, whatever, your child needs. But don't act shocked that your child had a fit. Like, this is the first time your child's ever had a fit. I just can't believe this. They've never done this they've never done this at the dinner table before, ever. This is the first time your child's ever acted up, and you're just so like, do you think I'm buying that?
Yeah.
I'm still a full adult grown human, and your kid looks like they're 3. So no, I don't think this was the first time your child's ever had an episode at the dinner table.
Right.
I mean, you can keep talking if it makes you feel better, but none of us are believing that. We just know you wanted to come out and you were hoping you could get through the dinner and you couldn't. And now you're embarrassed and you're trying to make all of us feel like your child's just so good and this is just some weird exception that just happened right now. No, it's not. Or if you're the type that puts your baby in the little high chair in the walkway.
Oh my God, yes.
What? Do you hate your child? I even remember setting it up on the inside one time because we knew they were coming and the assholes moved them to the outside. I'm like, what did you not get about me putting it there? We can't move around your baby. But I don't know. I just wish there were way more considerate parents when it came to that sort of thing and stop and think about other people. Like, I know you want to go out. I know. Every human needs that every once in a while.
Sure.
And maybe you can't afford a babysitter, but then how is that still all of our problem? Because adults are allowed to have an evening out without children.
Yeah.
And I've worked in places that were not conducive for a children's night out. It's more expensive, or the dinner itself takes a long time just by design. And you bring them in. When I worked at a fondue place, that dinner's an hour and a half to 2 hours. There's hot objects on the table, sharp forks, and you bring in a kid.
Yeah.
And again, maybe sometimes you do have a kid that's able to sit down there and do this for a long time. But I've never worked at one of those places where the kids were just chill the entire dinner. That's a long time to expect a kid to be chill.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they would just drink there and let them run around like it was fine because this was their night out. And apparently we were their babysitters.
Yeah. Oh, and then they're just like, oh, look at you. They're no.
Can I have another rosé? Like, sure, Mom. Sure.
And and I'll give credit to some of the people in the restaurant who will humor it for a moment, but at the same time, you are disturbing them. Your child is disturbing their night out. So get your kid.
And that's what made me think of it, because I had some regulars that used to come in there all the time. On a Friday night, they paid a babysitter. We had a party table next door that was like 6 kids and 2 moms.
Mm-hmm.
And they sat at one end of the table, just drank and chatted or whatever. They're jumping on the seats. They're making lots of noise. Like, it's almost like the parents have turned it off. They're so used to it that it didn't matter. My table got so mad. They actually got up, walked over to that table and was like, you know what? Some of us actually spent money to leave their children at home so we could have a lovely evening out. You have done nothing but let them run around and and I was just like, I just backed up. I'm like, I don't even know how to get in the middle of this one because he's right.
Yeah.
But I have to try to remain neutral. So I just went and got the boss. I was like, we're about to have a customer on customer fight right now. And I don't know how to deal with that one. If it was a server, I'd be like, yo, but it was just like, he's right though. And I don't know what to say, and they got pissed, of course, too, because I'm allowed to do what I want. It was just like, I don't know, people. I just wish everyone would move forward with just a little bit of understanding that you're just not the only one there.
Yeah.
Again, I understand it's hard to think about outside of your own brain, outside of your own lens, because that's all we ever see. But you're no different than the person sitting next to you, to the person sitting next to that. We're all just trying to get by.
Mm-hmm.
We're all want the same things in the end, for the most part, Freaking stop. No. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to see why no one can have empathy for other people's issues or concerns. Because, again, I mean, why would you do that to people? Why would you... You have to understand that your children, being the animals that they are, because they are animals. They are,
yeah. They're just like little soft brains that you're molding still. Like.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you don't tell them to sit down, when you don't tell them to stop, that is a disruption to the area. Other people are having to deal with that.
Which is
Same
an insight
as
into your parenting style, by the way.
Oh.
If you're not even thinking to sit them down when they're in public,
Mm-hmm.
God, I hate to see them at your home.
Like, for example, I'll use this as it's where it gets tricky. So if you brought, say, a young infant, maybe, I don't know, before, like barely a
6 to 8
year
months.
old, maybe a
Yeah.
little younger, and you came to a family restaurant, okay, a place that is kind of not, you can sit down. It's meant for kind of families. They got the kids' meal and everything, so it's not super fancy.
Right.
You bring your kid there. It's allowed, if you
Right.
will.
Yeah.
And then your kid starts screaming. Yeah, it's going to be a disruption, but it's a little difficult.
I did come to a California pizza kitchen. What was I thinking? Right? So
Yeah.
at least there's some separation there.
Yeah, you're just kind of like, well, I mean, the kid can't help it. And I mean, what are the parents going to do? They sat down. They probably weren't expecting the kid to start screaming at the top of their lungs for no good reason.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just kind of like, I don't know what to do. But it is a disruption, but you kind of have sympathy in a way. Because, again, not something they can just turn off. It's it's an infant. You got a 4-year-old bouncing around in a fancier restaurant where kids are normally not spotted.
We didn't even have a children's menu, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not even a little bit. You're spending $50 for a steak. That's it. You want sides? That's extra. You want an app? You want a salad? That's extra. So there's nothing about this restaurant that screams your children should come here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We had high chairs because law made us have it, and that was it. Because that's the law. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't have even had that. What do you mean you don't have a kids menu? We weren't designing it for a children's night out. This was supposed to be an adult, upper class people who want to come have a night out. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Or people who finally saved up enough money to come to a place like this or something. Like it wasn't meant for kids.
So was there not a way that they could kind of prevent children from being there?
I mean, we would always try to direct them to a different area or, but no, I mean, you can't just say no. I mean, we even had a dress code that people kept trying to blow past, and it got to the point where you can't even really, because if you tell them anything against what they want, they'll instantly take offense to it and try to make a huge deal about it. And you finally get to the point where you're like, you know what? I just don't care. Go sit in your ratty ass jeans. Whatever. We're going to have other guests complain because they came in the suit and tie and they have to stare at you. Fine. Yeah. Like you just get to the point where people ruin it for everything. You just get so sick of dealing with that attitude that you just go sit down. I don't know. Or if you were really gross, we would sit you in the bar because we had an upstairs bar that was away from the main dining. So we would shove you up there. Which is weird to me that you'd let them be the first thing you see. But at least when you went downstairs into the nicer dining area that, people were more dressed properly. But, we're in a day and age where people don't want to dress up anymore.
Right. Well, I do want to, I know this is kind of completely unrelated, but kind of in a comparatively to that. I feel like there was a restaurant that Katrina and I went to maybe in 2014, something like that. Like we were going out of town and we were going to a convention that weekend. And I thought, while we're up here, let's kind of take in the town, the city or whatnot and just kind of, feel it out, because we haven't been up here. Why not? And I found this restaurant, little fancy, super fancy Italian restaurant called Valencio's or something like that. Had to put in reservations. I was looking at all the decor. I was like, holy shit, this is a fancy place. I made it my point. And I told Katrina this. I said, we're going to dress up. And I had like my suit jacket, tie. I mean, dressed to the nines to go to this place. And sure enough, it was that fancy. Or at least that's how it was presented. And I was like,
that's what
shit.
they wanted. That was the point. Yeah.
Yeah. So there were other people who didn't. Because at some point I'm sitting in there looking like feeling like a schmuck because I was like, did we overdress? But I thought, looking at the decor. Yeah,
and they probably did have one. But I think most restaurants, we've just gotten to the point where we just give up.
Yeah.
Y'all are too loud, too cranky, too just, your life has just ended over the smallest of things that you just like, I don't, maybe we have been waiting on children this whole time. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yes.
But yeah, I've even had people like, I put their stuff on the table and they're like, oh yeah, we overordered, take this back.
What?
Excuse me?
No.
You just all of a sudden had buyer's remorse after the food hit the table and you want us to just take it back? Like, and of course they're gonna. That's the problem. That's the biggest reason why I need it out of the restaurant, because this whole bullshit about the customer being right, it was just whoever came up with that and ran with it should probably already dead. But I was going to say should be shot, because this is just ridiculous, because y'all just take in a mile when you weren't even offered an inch. And it's just ridiculous. And the complaints would get dumb most of the time. Well, why is my steak burnt? You ordered a 48-ounce porterhouse well done, and I told you it was going to take an hour. That's why it's burnt. And I told you that beforehand, and you're still going to try to get money off your bill for it. So it's like you got those people that keep trying to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
They get their fill of whatever it was, and then they'll complain about something so shit can come off the bill, you know? And then it's just, now you're bitter at everyone.
Yeah. And you know, there are times that if people could just have any decency. There's one restaurant story that I have, and we tried, okay? Like, we didn't make a fuss. So, and I think they appreciated that too. Mm-hmm. But we went to a restaurant, and I think we had like, we'd ordered like a dip, like a spinach dip or something like that. Mm-hmm. And as I kind of went in, there was a hair, and I was like, oh, like that. And I just looked at Katrina. I was like, nah, don't do like that. And then, as opposed to me like, let's make a deal. As soon as the waitress came over, I was like, hey, found a hair in that. Just letting you know. And she's like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'll go get you another. And then she did. Yeah. And I feel like we found another one. I was like, oh my God, what is happening?
Who's back there?
Yeah.
Who doesn't have a hairnet? Like,
so I, again, just kind of said, hey, you might want to check the entire dip or whatever you got back there, man. Because, I mean, someone
is shedding into this stuff right now.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. They comped the meal outside the drinks.
That situation, yes. Yes, you do.
But I also feel like it was because we didn't make a stink about it. You know,
I'm going to tell you right now, I gave so much more free stuff away to the people that a mistake was legitimately ours and they were kind about it than I ever did to anyone who complained. I gave you just enough to shut up so you'd get out of our lives.
Yeah.
And this is what I tried to, when I was streaming, I always thought I'm going to be the PSA for restaurant etiquette here. So everyone's going to get along a lot nicer. You're going to have a better dining experience. We're going to have a better time waiting on you. And it's just going to be all around thing. But that was the one thing I kept trying to stress. Was like, especially if it's the restaurant's fault and you are completely in the right to make a complaint. If you're super nice about it, that server is going to go to the manager and be like, dude, can we buy them this? Can we buy them that? They didn't make my life hell. This was great, you know? And you're going to have a better time because you got way more shit for free than you were anticipating just for being a nice person.
Yeah. I mean, think about it.
We deal with so many assholes. We want to reward the good behavior, and we will. So again, I keep trying to stress anybody who's listening to it, even if it's the restaurant fault, if you're kind about it, watch things just fly off your bill. Mm-hmm. Now, if I say this, like, not everywhere I'll probably abide by that, but everywhere I've ever worked, I've seen that way more often than I did for people who just threw a shit fit, because we just want you out now at this point. Yeah. You're ruining everyone's time. You're to the point we could actually call the cops because you're just being loud and obnoxious, you know? So just here, we've taken the dessert off. Now go, you know? Mm-hmm. But it's like, oh my God, would you like, I've even had them go over and offer after dinner drinks for free just because you were a decent human, because we want you to come back. We want people like you coming back.
And you know, I'm glad you say that too, because I have a different story to a restaurant chain that is now out of business, or at least in the town that I'm in, which is an Applebee's, and I'm going to say it right now. Yeah. We had gone there, I think, sometime after Calliope was born. We just happened to be in the area, and it was, you know, no one was there. And I thought, well, we'll just swing over there and grab a bite. She ain't going to bother nobody, you know. And, of course, we didn't think it would be a big deal. And by God, we never went back after this. Server came out. She seemed like she's ditzy as hell. She spilt shit all over Calliope. Didn't even realize it. And I was just like watching it spill on her. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And she's like, whoa, whoa, what? And I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
and we did not make a fuss out of it. It's like, could you just at least go get us a towel, some napkins,
Right,
something we
yeah.
can clean our child off, for Christ's sake? And didn't make a fuss about it. But it was just like, she disappeared from the table. Like,
Oh, shit.
didn't
She was
see
too
her the rest of the
embarrassed to come
fucking
back.
time.
Yeah.
And then the manager came over and apologized. But did we get anything out of it? Not really. They knocked off a little bit, but we didn't make a stink. We didn't make a fuss, but it was like she ruined her clothes. She spilt shit all over her. And
accidents do happen.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, if the server would have been more apologetic or something, now there's going to be some people that would happen to. They're going to lose their mind regardless. Mistakes happen. I had that happen to me once. I was mortified when I was working at a fondue place, and we had a huge tray, and it was a coq au vin cooking style, which the whole thing is us making a lot of this stuff at the table for you, which is supposed to be fun. So I had my big carafe of wine on there, a bunch of the stuff that goes in there. And as I was setting down the tray, the carafe goes over straight into the booth, all down into behind dude's pants and everything. I'm mortified. It's red wine. I apologize profusely. I'm telling the manager, I'm like, we got to do something. And all. He was so nice about it. I still can't believe it. Because, those pants were ruined.
yeah.
He had to sit there with wet pants the rest of the dinner. Oh my God. But maybe it was just because he could see the look on my face. I was just mortified that it even happened. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh, what can I do? What can I do? How do I, but she just left you and did nothing. So that makes you a little bit more angry because you didn't even have the decency to apologize or anything like that. But I don't know if that would have made the difference, at least, but
that would. I genuinely feel like it would, because with you, like you said, you were just like, oh my God, and you apologizing over and over and over and over. Yeah. And they were just like, they too were like, yeah, accidents happen. It's fine. I know you didn't mean to do it. I know I may be sitting in wine, but it's okay. Shit happens. I'll be fine. You'll be fine. It's cool.
When it turns into them are you okay? I'm like, I don't know. But there's a lot. I have so many stories with restaurants and everything like that. There's just too many because I was in it for too long. I've even had food thrown at me before and stuff. But that's not a general pet peeve. I don't think anyone likes that.
No, unless you're part of Animal House or something and you just like food fights or something.
But that just goes to tell you how bad attitude people get, thinking they're going to get their way by throwing a huge fit. All they got was the cops called on them. But I'm just saying,
I've heard a story. There was a local ice cream joint. Some lady did give out free samples. She's a small little business owner. Was giving out free samples of her very unique ice cream at one point, and then people took advantage. They would come in, they would eat one and be like, can I get one of that? Can I get one of that? Can I get one of that? And then be like, okay, well, what do you want? It's like, no, I'm good. And then just bail. And it's like, so she stopped doing it.
Yeah.
And then some lady was just like, what do you mean you don't get free samples? Everybody gives free samples. And she's like, not me.
Right.
Because too many people were
allowed
taking
to do it.
But the customer just being so, I just can't believe you won't get free samples. It's like, well, if people weren't coming in and stealing, taking advantage of free sample, then maybe you could get a free sample. But you seem like that same person that would do the same thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't know. Or let them have it after the purchase. I know that sucks, but it would be after you've bought ice cream, if you want to sample a couple of other ones, or limit it to 2.
Yeah,
2
I would say at least a limit,
not an unlimited, because you even do that if you went to Sam's Club, how they used to always have the free food samples and stuff on the end because they wanted you to buy it. And then some of us would just go over there and make that our lunch.
Yeah.
And then see ya, and never actually buy the thing. We're going to do that. People are going to do that, unfortunately.
Sure.
There's not enough people thinking, oh, this is costing you money as a small business owner. I just want something for free because I can't afford it. And our entitledness makes us feel like we're supposed to have it, even if we can't afford it. I don't know. Where we got this idea that all these luxuries are necessities, but that just tells you how good life really is. Honestly, for 9/10 of the people by listening to the levels of complaints. Anywho, do we
yeah.
have like a nice light story to end it on? Like, was there something that happened that ended up renewing our faith in humanity for some point? I'll tell you, I have one. I have one.
Good.
Because like this, I know it's hard to think of one because unfortunately the negative always sticks in your brain a lot more. So a few years back, I was in a pretty decent car accident where some dude ran into the back of me. Instead, dead traffic. I don't know how dude managed to pick up enough speed for this, but he was zipping in and out, hit me right in the back, which caused my car to hit the next person ahead of me. And I was still a decent ways back. Because again, remember how I just complained about leaving distance? I drive a stick. I left distance because you don't want to just keep pushing in the clutch all freaking time. So I would just let off the clutch, slide, put in the clutch when I needed to slow down. And that's kind of how I did it. So I wasn't constantly braking. So I ran into this one. He comes flying out of the car. I'm like, oh God, I'm going to have this person pissed off. And he was just like, you know what happened? And he saw my car and he looked at me. He stayed with me the entire time while I was getting the information from the guy who hit me, because he kept telling me, he's like, I think he's going to jet, because the guy looked like he was like freaking trying to get out of there. Yeah. He stayed with me the whole time. He let me follow him to the hospital in case something was wrong, because we didn't call the cops. It was 90 on a Friday at like 4:45. Like, nobody's getting anywhere. Again, I still don't know how dude managed to get enough speed and get behind me like that to even cause a wreck this hard. Because if you see someone pulled over, you know it's because they were driving on the shoulder. It wasn't for speeding. We're not going anywhere. It's 4 lanes of dead traffic. And then made sure I got in there okay, and then left. Never heard from him again. He didn't try to be weird or creepy or anything. But where it would have been his right to be upset, even though I wasn't the one who caused it, was very kind the entire time and didn't even bother to get his car fixed or anything. He just stayed there and made sure it was taken care of. I actually sent him a thank you card. Because he actually did let me have his information in case, he's like, in case you need a witness for this dude.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah. So finally, like a bad tragedy, this person actually renewed my faith a little bit in humanity, because nobody else would stop. Even those who watched it sitting right next, they kept going because I have things to do. Nobody cared. Hardly anybody would even let me move my car out of the middle lane so I could get the hell out of y'all's way. Yeah. Like, this is just how the mindset is when people are on the highway trying to get somewhere. I'm not letting you in. I'm not going to do it. So to have one individual go out of their way, I have no idea what they were late for. Like, they had to be going somewhere if they were on 90 at that time of day. Yeah. Maybe trying to get home from work. Who knows? But like that time of day, if you're on the highway, it's because you had to be. You did not make a choice. Nobody would choose to put themselves on a parking lot for an hour and a half, you know, unless you had to be somewhere and that was the only way you could go. So yeah, it was nice to know, not being creepy, wasn't weird, made sure I got to the hospital at least safely and then left from there. Cause dude's probably got a life. You know, not married to me, you know, but that was still like way more than I would anticipated any stranger to do in that situation, especially when they weren't the one to have caused any kind of harm. You know, they were the ones who got harmed in, you know, as another victim to this dude who for some reason had somewhere to be so much more important than the rest of us, you know, that look how fast you got there now, sir. You know, like we ended up being pulled alongside of the highway for 40 minutes, you know? Right. So yeah, that at least I do remember that gentleman, and I did send him a nice thank you card because I don't expect humans to do anything nice for other people anymore. I feel like ever since we got into like the 2000s, the whole shift has changed on like how people treat each other. And I don't know if that's just how it feels or social media did it or what, but I feel like even out in my day-to-day life, people are just more on edge, more cranky than they've ever been and less helpful. Yeah. And I just feel like as a kid, I don't remember people being that bad. Like I actually remember people helping a lot more or it takes a village to raise a kid. Like we all knew each other's parents and helped each other out on the street and everything like that, you know? And I don't even know my neighbors right now. Lived here 10 years, you know? Like it's just, I know that's my fault too. I could actively go over there and say hi, but like, I feel that's how we are now. We just keep it away. Yeah.
But there's just... That's a whole other topic that we could go down.
Sure. And maybe we should do that one as a nice pick-me-up. I just knew we were going to bitch a lot because I have a lot of pet peeves and I know you do too. So I wanted to at least try to end it on a nicer last final story.
Yeah, so we'll leave it at the Good Samaritan who was not angry that you rear-ended him because it was not your fault.
Right, right. and actually stayed, when he could have totally left. I don't know what I would have done. I probably would have made sure dude was fixing my car too.
Sure.
Like it is his fault that I hit you, but he just was like, no, mine's fine. Just making sure this dude doesn't take off and screw you over completely, And I'm like,
Right.
yeah, all right. Thanks, dude. Because I just got hit and I am not thinking very clearly. I am a mixture of pissed and in pain. My poor car got totaled.
Yeah.
Celeste. Damn it. I would have kept riding that thing forever. But anyway, that's how life goes. But
Yeah.
I would say, what are your pet peeve siblings? This could be a fun one.
Oh yeah.
Something new.
I'm sure we'll hear from some of our regulars, at least in the Discord.
Sure. Come join us there, by the way.
Yeah, we're starting to get a few more pop-ins. We've had a few recent additions, so welcome new siblings.
Yes.
I don't want to call you out. I know who you are, though. You know who you are, too.
You know who you are.
But if you don't want to join us on Discord for some odd reason, even though it's a lot more fun over there, you can find us on your favorite social media platform at Super Mega Crash. We're everywhere that's kind of popular and not so much popular.
We think we've got it covered.
Yeah, we've hit up a lot of the bigger ones that are trying to take over X and all that, but we're still over there for now. I'm getting ready to bail. If that shit about him charging people you can count us out.
Oh, is it like he wants to legit now? If you want to be on the site, you have to pay? Because then I'm not gonna do that either.
Yeah,
there is nothing about the site I would pay for. I barely wanted it for free. Like
it worked free, and it should stay free.
He wants his own little echo chamber, so there you go.
Free
speech.
Woo! Yeah, and
that
you
I'm
pay
charging
$5.
you $8 a month for. Yeah.
Anyway, so if you found us over wherever your favorite social media is, we're there. You can also send us email at gmail.com, supermegacrest@gmail.com. You should know that by now. Support the show, patreon.com/pencilpaperproductions if you want 5-star reviews on that podcast app that you use. Maybe helps us grow. And finally, if you just want to keep up with find all these things all in one place, pencilpaperproductions.com/supermegacrash. Links are in the show notes. Join us again next week, siblings.
And say happy birthday to Steven and every one of those socials, by the way. Happy birthday.
Yeah. Thank you. Until next week, go beyond your limits.
This has been a Pencil and Paper Podcast Network production.